let's now see the SelectMany LINQ operator in practice, okay? Now let's first recap what we want to do with it, okay? So as we saw, this LINQ operator serves to flatten the collections, okay? Normally, for example, let's go to this person collection, okay? Let's say that I want to extract this interests array into a flat array, okay? We just saw the select LINQ operator. So you can say, hey, what I can do is interest array equal collections dot complex collections dot, and I extract from this, for each person I want to extract the person interests, okay? Like we did with age and name, okay? Now what's the problem with this approach? That's not what we want, because here, as you can see, the collection, the return is of type IEnumerable of list of string, okay? So we have inside this collection, this out collection, the IEnumerable collection, we have inside of it nested lists. So we would have this array inside of it, then on another position, another index, this array, and this array, okay? And that's not what we want. What we want is for this to be a array of strings, so an IEnumerable of string. Okay? And this is what SelectMany does. Okay, so if we replace select with SelectMany, you'll see right away that the output, the type of the collection is IEnumerable of string. If I remove many, I have IEnumerable of list. Why? Because I'm extracting an array from each person, therefore the type of my list is array of string. As you can see here, if I over the name, so IEnumerable of list of string, okay? So have a nested list, okay? But if I use SelectMany, what happens is that those lists are spread, okay? So instead of having a list of lists, I have a list of just the elements of the nested lists, okay? So let's just print this out to see that indeed I have a nested or a flattened list, okay? So for each var in interest array, for each interest, let me just right line this, okay? Interest, okay? Now, we expect to have a flattened array, okay, which means that here indeed we would have each of the interests printed out, okay? Let's see this when I run the project, okay? And as you can see here, we get all of the interests flattened out, okay? So I have music and art from John, walking and TV from Rita, politics from Ruth, and surf and music from Josh, okay? So indeed, I was able to extract values, to flatten values of a nested list. So if I by chance remove this, okay, and printed this out, you see here, this is a list, okay? So this is a list, okay? And if I run this, what you'll see here is that indeed I'm printing just a list. So I have a list of string. And if I wanted to print the values of the list, I would have to go do another loop. Okay, so here interest, let me just call this I here for a second. Okay, and let me extract this here and put it here. Constant line here, and now I get the interest. So I would have to have a double loop if I wanted to access the values. Okay, let's see this, and this is what you observe here. Okay, so When I just use select, I'm getting a list of lists, and if I want to access the individual interests, I need to do a double loop, okay, because I have a list of lists. But if I want to make things simple, I can just use SelectMany, and SelectMany pretty much just removes this this outer loop, let's say, so one of the loops, and it just outright flattens the list for me. And then when, of course, we run this, we get the same result as we had before. Okay, so hopefully it was clear to you that the SelectMany operator works to flatten a list of lists. Okay, so instead of having to do two loops and so on, I can just use SelectMany. Here, I select a list, okay, because this is a list, and then all the values from this list will be flattened out into a single list, and then it makes it easier for you to work, okay? And this is SelectMany.